I'm a lawyer by training, but I'm a recovering lawyer. I no longer practice. But I spent my career, I went to a big firm, like a lot of people do, practiced for 2 years. And then I went to two big companies that really taught me the most about leadership. And you'll be surprised, and it's not this one. First one was Weight Watchers International. For those of you who don't know Weight Watchers, it is a $2 billion publicly traded company where you have 1.5 million people every week come to learn how to lose weight. So you're saying, well, what the heck did it teach me about leadership? I'll come back to that. I ran operations there for 11.5 years. I went from there to the Girl Scouts, another random one, right? Anybody here been a Girl Scout? Not you guys. Girl Scouts? Okay. So Girl Scouts, largest leadership development program for girls in the world. 3 million girls a week, serviced by 1 million volunteers. And what do they learn? They learn how to become girls who have courage, confidence, and character, who make the world a better place. The entire part of my job as COO of the Girl Scouts was to help develop leadership qualities of young girls, particularly girls in the inner city community. And then I got called for this job, and once I took a look at my office, I was like, I'm gonna take this job. But believe it or not, this is also a job where it's very mission driven and it's about making people's lives better. So when you ask me about my view on leadership, it's very much infused by the jobs I've had. And at Weight Watchers, the key thing about Weight Watchers is having good listening skills, right? I mean, if you're talking to somebody about how to lose weight and be healthy, you really have to understand them. So empathy and what we used to call servant leadership. I don't know if it's a term any of your other leadership guys, but remember this term, servant leadership. It's about listening and responding to your customers. And that I learned at Weight Watchers. At Girl Scouts, I learned about how to run a leadership organization. And we always talked about two other traits that I live and breathe, which is grit and resilience. And if you teach particularly young girls, I'm going to look over here, grit and resilience, it's sort of clinically proven that they'll develop better leadership skills. And so I took those with me in the jobs I've had, including this one.
What do you think is the most important trait to successful leadership?
Anybody ever hear of something called the growth mindset? Growth mindset. Let me ask another question. Is your brain fixed permanently at the age of 20? Or is it continuing to evolve? Literally, like the neuroconnections of your brain. Are they fixed when you hit 20, or do they continue to refine until you're my old age? They refine. The neuroscience is one of those areas that they say that you're not fully hardwired probably until you're our age, but the truth is even older, which means if you have this growth mindset, if you actually look at the world as eminently changeable, you could rewire your brain until you're about mid-40s, mid-50s. So people who say, I'm not good at math, it's bullshit. You can become good at math. Now, you may not have ever, the world's greatest math skills, but you can actually train your brain to get yourself good at math. And what you do when we were Weight Watchers, you can say, well, I'm not good at keeping weight off. You can be good. And for those of us who grow up and believe in what's called behavior modification, you can change your behavior and actually you can make yourself smarter. You can learn new behaviors on how to resist food, or if you're at the Girl Scouts, you can learn leadership skills. And so I know it sounds dorky, but I'm a believer of it. And as a father, I talk to my kids about that. Like, you're not born some way. You're not born good at math. You're not born bad at math. You can actually train. And we went to Penn, so I went to Penn, and there was a professor there called Martin Seligman in psychology who had a theory called learned optimism, that you can learn how to have, again, it sounds dorky, but by thinking positive thoughts, you literally can learn how to have more positive energy and happiness, and that's clinically proven to lead to more successful leadership outcomes. It sounds terribly dorky, but you wait and see. In 10 years, people can practice being happy and positive, and it could have a better impact than a lot of the other crap we do, like running on a treadmill.
What do you enjoy most about your work?
This current job is like a dream come true. I love people. I get energy from people. I love servicing people and making their lives better. I'm not a number cruncher. I'm not a guy who wants to trade stocks. I'm not good at it. So what I love about my job is if you saw me, I get to high-five tourists every day and welcome them to New York, and that fits well for me. I've realized that I like hospitality and tourism. So I love that I get in my I don't want to be in front of a computer screen. Now that having been said, I paid my dues, you know. I spent 2 years at a big corporate law firm typing memos and running errands and spending 100 hours doing that. You know, again, I didn't get to this point in my career without sort of working through a couple of other jobs to realize that this is what I want to do. Let me tell you, this is a small company. I could be running billion-dollar companies. My wife, Lori, over there, we could have relocated to Chicago. If I really wanted to do that for my job, it would have required trade-offs that I wasn't prepared to do. And I just decided I wanted to run a relatively small but iconic business here in New York. I live on the Upper West Side, I can bike to work, and I really love what I do.
What are less glamorous parts of your job?
It's a small business, and for me, if I don't pay attention to the detail, for those of you, anybody here like shopping? So, you know, Weight Watchers is a big retail, and we used to always say retail is detail. Retail is detail. And the other thing is what gets measured gets done. Do you do better on tests that you know have a grade, or do you do better on tests where there's no grade? Which makes you study harder? I study harder when there's a grade. Raise your hand. I study less hard when there's no grade. So what gets measured gets done, and retail is detail. So those are the two mantras when you're in retail you have to live by. Because if you have people who are operating your stores but they don't think they're ever going to get caught or measured or ranked or graded, they don't work as hard. And if they don't know that you're going to walk by their store and rearrange it and pay attention to the details, well, they won't fold the sweater as neatly, or they won't count their inventory as well. And effectively, this is like a retail environment. The detail matters. So I don't let myself get too high up there and big picture, because if I'm not paying attention to that stuff, it's not going to get done. And that's actually something I've learned in this job, because this is, in some sense, the smallest job I've ever had. Because usually at Weight Watchers, Girl Scouts, those are big franchises, you know, with 20,000 employees. I only have 700 employees here. So I know every one of their names, and I'll make sure I'm paying attention to their detail. And sometimes that means gritty stuff. So as you guys think about what you want to be when you grow up, that's part of the test. It's like, do you like people? Do you get energy from people? Or do you rather have the door closed and looking at a computer screen? Do you care about the detail, or are you more of a big picture person?
What advice do you have for someone just starting in business?
I actually have a motto, so I'm going to share it with you. And it's the result of at Weight Watchers, we all had to take some assessment tests, and then we had to come up with our own leadership motto, which I'm going to share with you guys. All right, and this is my answer. Build winning teams, have fun, take risks, and be kind along the way. So let's break it down. Build winning teams. I'm a soccer coach. Losing is not an option. Like, I'm competitive. My kids know that if you're in second place, you're a first place loser. I say that as a joke. You guys should have laughed. But sort of, it's a joke, but you know, there's something about winning. Like, don't be afraid of it, but build winning teams. You can't do it on your own. So as a young entrepreneur or whatever, build a great team, be proud to win. It's okay. Because if you're not proud to win, you're going to lose. So build winning teams. So that means get around you, whether you're in sports or in business, great people who want to win. But then comes the rest of it. Take risks. Don't be stupid like I was with that business that I said, like, I was a little too risky, but you got to take some risks. You got to have some fun, because life is long if it's not fun. And then you have to be kind, because you can't, in my view, you can't leave dead bodies around because you won and you ran over everybody. You can make yourself millions, but if you're not kind and generous, you sort of, to me, wasted the chance. So that's how I sort of structure my approach, and I think it applies. For you're starting a business, build a winning team, take some risks. The one thing I'll say was important to me as we surf a little bit, I took pretty big career risks. I went to Simpson Thacher, which is, anybody know the law firm Simpson Thacher, anybody? So it's a big corporate M&A law firm. I went to Penn Law, I graduated top of my class, I got the best law firm job. I sounded great in cocktail party chatter, like I was the man, you know, like I work at a great firm. My job sucked. It really did. It sucked. I made decent money, but my job was not for me. But I felt great. I was able to talk about how cool my job was because people knew the law firm. The biggest risk I ever took was in 1999 when I walked out of the firm and I left it all behind to go take a job at a company called craftshop.com. And literally I sold arts and craft supplies on the internet. So let's role play. I'm 29 years old and all my tough guy friends from Penn are like, hey, what are you doing? I work at Blackstone or Goldman or some law firm and I work at craftshop.com. Like my rap wasn't as good as it used to be. And a lot of my friends were like, what are you doing with your job? What are you doing with your career? You know, it was the best move I ever made. But I had to get comfortable. And then I went to work at Weight Watchers. I'm a skinny man. What am I doing working at Weight Watchers? Seriously, like, to this day, like, I remember the phone call to my mother saying, yeah, Mom, I took this great job. I'm gonna go work at Weight Watchers. She's like, what? You went to Penn Law. What are you doing going to work at Weight Watchers? I'm like, because it's a great company with a great mission. It's a $1 billion publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange with 20,000 employees, and I think it's gonna be a great fit. But I had to get over that a guy like me should go work at the NBA. Like, that's what cool guys do. We go work at the NBA, right? You guys don't want to work at the NBA, right? You want to be a general manager of the Knicks, right? Come on, Nate. You want to be a general manager of what? The Mets? Right? Like, that's what you think you should be when you grow up. The truth is, it doesn't work out that way. And you got to make choices that may bum your cocktail party rap.
What do you look for in new hires, and what traits stand out to you when you hire?
So when you interview, you look for people, absolutely right. I'm going to look for people with a growth mindset, but I got to figure out how to do it because it's sort of like, do you have a growth mindset is not a question. So you got to tease it out because what's growth mindset? Somebody who's positive energy, thinks they can change, thinks is empathetic and really enjoys sort of customer experience, customer relations, that sort of person, right? So I'll ask him, well, when you failed, how did you adjust to make it better? Tell me 3 things that your coworkers would say about you. And you get a little bit of a nugget of, they say I'm moody and, you know, most people won't interview that way, but you can get nuggets. Tell me the 3 best things your coworkers will say and the 3 worst things. And what they'll end up saying is, oh, people say I have a ton of energy and I'm always in a good mood. Okay, that's good. I have a little secret. My favorite interview question is, what's your favorite TV show? I get more from that question than any other question I ask. Why? What's your favorite TV show? Mad Men. Great answer. That's on my approved list. And I'm the only one who knows why. Because it's smart, sort of well done, shows you're sort of businessy, sort of it's sharp, you know, it's edgy, it's urban. I like it. So the best story I had at Weight Watchers, I had a territory manager, 2 territory managers who were finalists for a job in Atlanta. I turned to one and I said, what's your favorite TV show? She said, Wheel of Fortune. I was like, oh, God. Okay, that's fine. And then her competitor said Jeopardy. Who got the job? Jeopardy. It was an easy one. But literally, we all met after and I was like, I'm done. The Jeopardy person wins. That was the easiest, but you get really interesting color from people. And there's no right answer. Weight Watchers, the right answer was great. It's Grey's Anatomy. Why? You want to cry at Grey's Anatomy? I mean, when McDreamy died, I was crying my ass off. I had to, row her out of the room, right? So when they say Grey's Anatomy, why? And that you could see their emotional intelligence by how they answered.
What's your best advice for someone who's starting off in their first job and then rising to a position of executive and CEO as yourself?
Just always be hungry for more, particularly when you're young and hopefully, take risks. So take jobs. Don't worry about their titles. Don't worry about their pay even. Just get experience. It's the hardest thing to do is get experience. If you have to take an internship, take it. And then once you're in the job, just always be in a good mood, always ask for more, and be willing to take on more responsibility. Don't be moody and cranky, and you will be fine. Because what we look for is good athletes. And joke with you, you know, I don't care if you play baseball or basketball or soccer, or shortstop or pitcher or first base. Just give me a good athlete. I may throw a tennis racket in your hand one day. I may give you a hoop the next. I just want that kind of person. You may not even be the best in any individual sport, but if you're a good athlete and you can sort of take a little of everything, you're really helpful to me with a good attitude. And honestly, that's how I built my career. I'm actually not good at anything. I'm not really good at anything. I have a twin brother. Maybe my last thing. Lori knows him well. We're identical twins. We couldn't be more opposite. He's a neurosurgeon. He stands over brains all day for 7 hours and doesn't talk to people. I mean, he does talk to his thing. And he sits and he does that all day. He is the best in the world at being a neurosurgeon. If I went to become a doctor, what kind of doctor do you think I'd be? You've heard me speak for half hour. You know enough about me. What kind of doctor? Do I look like a surgeon or do I look like a general practitioner? Do I look like you're a pediatrician and your parents' internist probably? Why? Because I want to know a little about a lot of things, but I get bored by any too much detail. The head of sales started getting into some detail before, and my answer is, I can't now, you know, like I just know myself. So I've made my career of knowing a little about a lot of things. It makes me a good athlete. I can do sales, I can do marketing, I can do HR, I can do a little finance. I like that. But I have to go hire people who want to be really good at one thing. And you'll find out along the way which is you. I have an identical twin brother who has chosen the exact opposite path. He is one of the world's greatest neurosurgeons. I hope you never have to use him. But, you know, and we're best buds, but we're very different. So you'll figure that out. But my advice, when you get started, have a growth mindset. Anything is possible. Always say yes. Sales is where it's at. It's all sales. So for those of you who are growing up in an environment where you think sales is, you know, not so cool, sales is where it's at. Because sales ultimately, whether you're selling yourself or you're selling your business, everything you do is sell, marketing, and promoting something. And the people who are most successful and get to, you know, jobs like mine or big jobs are good salespeople. And that's sell, market, and promote. And if you have that mindset, I think you'll all do very well.